Hey guys, Crypto Llama here. Today we're going to focus specifically on strategy and countering battle rule sets. These parameters and rule sets offer a unique mechanic to Splinterlands, which each of them significantly change the direction of battle and the cards able to be used in battle. As usual though, if you enjoy DEC and card giveaways, don't forget to jump into our regular streams on Twitch and our Discord channel. We would love for you to be a part of them and join in on the Splinterlands discussion. For that, I will leave the linkage in the video description below. But now back to strategy. So guys, studying these rule sets and their counters will have a waterfall effect. They will not only progress you into higher leagues and increase your win rate, but they will also increase your earnings. For this reason, we've decided to do this video over multiple series. Each video will go through 5 battle rule sets and their counters in a condensed format to make information easier for you to digest and to be able to go through at your own pace. So first on our list, we have Aim True, and this one is pretty self-explanatory. Melee and range attacks will always hit their targets. Now, some of you may be thinking that speed isn't so important here, seeing as you're always going to hit your target anyway, but I can assure you that it is of vital importance. And the main reason for that is if you can have all your monsters attacking first, you can possibly extinguish a tank early in the battle and set yourself up for an easy win. Also, I find that the perfect counter to this rule set are abilities such as Poison, Stun, Retaliate, and Double Strike, because regardless of the enemy always hitting, if you can increase the output of damage with these abilities, you're going to have a huge upper hand. As well, if you're stunned, then that damage is massively decreased altogether. Next up, we have Weak Magic, which simply means magic will have to break through armor first before doing any crucial health damage. Firstly, it's important not to rely on magic creatures not being used at all in this rule set. However, there is one thing that you should rely on, and that is that more armor will always be more useful. In regular games, armor can be easily mitigated by a decent magic squad, but in weak magic, all monsters are forced to contend with your armor first. This means that using summoners with plus armor and also having protect can do well here. You'll find that your squad will become far more sustainable if they can survive longer, and this will conclusively increase your overall damage output. As well as protect, I tend to favor at least the repair support, which will ensure you have enough sustainability to wreak havoc and shell out enough damage to counter your opposition. Remember that armor is certainly king. You could say that with a higher probability, your opposition will most likely be using less magic attacks here. But you can also gain that extra edge by debuffing their melee and range attacks with Demoralize and Headwinds. If you focus on a mixture of these abilities, your opposition will find it extremely difficult to accomplish much damage at all. Next, we have Up Close and Personal, where only melee attack monsters can be used. This rule set has more depth than one actually may think. There are a few things we need to think about here to secure constant wins. Firstly, we need to ensure that we never have an inactive monster. What I mean by this is, if you use all tanks and they cannot attack until your first tank dies, this is the quickest way to solidify a loss. Your units will be disemboweled one by one, and seeing as you cannot rely on range or magic, you'll be sitting there with practically no damage output and left wondering why the battle was such a bloodbath. Therefore, the simplest way to counter this is by using a combination of abilities to ensure all of your melee monsters are attacking as a collective. Sneak, Reach, Opportunity are all a must. Basically, if you want your tank to tell all of his grandkids in years to come about his glory on the Splinterlands battlefield, you'll have to implement all of these abilities in your picks. Continual momentum is key here, making sure that every one of your monsters is being able to attack. Behind your tank should be a strong reach pick, and even better if your reach pick has a stun, as this will allow you to incur the most DPS possible. As a tip to the newer players, there is one such monster on Peak Monsters and Monster Market right now, which ticks all of the boxes above. This card is a great pickup for the budget conscious at less than 50 cents, and that monster is the Twilight Basilisk. Low mana cost, stun, reach, and armor. Perfect for this rule set. Also, making sure that your monsters with Sneak and Opportunity are placed strategically in the middle of your squad is important, as these cards will usually have lower health and therefore more likely susceptible to falling early. Incidentally, your last position pick is likely to be taking a lot of damage here also, so it would be prudent to use one that can do a lot of absorbing by using abilities such as Heal and Shield. Reactive abilities such as Thorns and Retaliate on any creature here is also fantastic, as everything is forced to do melee damage. Likewise with Enraged, as this will certainly proc more often as you're taking a significant amount of melee damage. We can also assume that evade and dodge chance is worthwhile in this rule set to decrease the damage dealt by your opposition. Thus, blind will cause monsters to miss, flying will give you 25% evade, dodge will give you 25% evade chance, and speed is also useful as well. Seeing as you're only facing melee monsters in this rule set, we can also figure by logical deduction that more armor will increase your sustainability. So heavy armor and repair can be the primary difference in outcome. Now, as we can assume that armor is strong here, we can also assume that piercing will be its counter and will actively help bypass any armor of your opposition's. One of my favorite tanks for this rule set is the Goblin Mercenary. He not only has stuns, but also has piercing and a nice chunk of armor, making him perfectly suited. Another is Lord of Darkness with Enraged, Stun, Shield, and Retaliate. Next up, we have basically the opposite of our previous rule set, and that is Keep Your Distance, where no melee is allowed at all. We will generally see a lot of magic in this one, so Magic Reflect can make a staggering difference here. A summoner like Rotwell is great, but if you want to ensure all your bases are covered, then Mimosa or Jotun are some fantastic picks. Mimosa is overwhelmingly strong in this rule set because you're getting Void for spell reduction, as well as -1 ranged attack. And seeing as range and magic are the only options available, this makes her a great pick. Having a higher speed count is also beneficial here for dodging those ranged attacks, and if you can have phase on your tank, even better. This will cause magic to miss at the same rate according to your speed. So we've gone over the buffs, now how about the debuffs? The two main standouts which will profit you the most here are Headwinds and Silence. These will reduce the damage of the only two attack types available, both magic and ranged. Next up we have Lost Magic, where magic attackers are unavailable. This is another rule set where armor plays a much larger role than in most others, because as a consequence and the inability to use magic attacks, all creatures will be forced to break through armor first. By making sure you have armor with buffs such as Protect, you will buy yourself a lot of time and as a result be able to deal heavy damage. There are a raft of different monsters and summoners which can help you out with this. A top pick summoner wise could be Chancius, as he can also perform the repair ability. You could also double this down by playing Armor Smith as well and be near guaranteed a victory. Now, seeing as we do not need to worry about magic attacks, speed will likely determine whether your squad actually takes any damage at all. So if you want your monsters to be missed as often as possible, abilities such as Swiftness and Slow are favorites and can produce effective results. Another powerful tactic I like using here is both a tank and an off tank with high speed and dodge, and then an assortment of high damage range picks behind. You'll find when using this strategy, your speedy boys will allow your ranged attacks enough time with their misses to whittle the opposition down. As a quick summary, these are the abilities that I like using with their respective rule sets. Now, as mentioned in the previous video, they aren't the be all and end all of Splinterlands battle strategies. As the saying goes, there are many different ways to skin a cat. For this reason, I'd love to hear from you all what strategies you like to use in the comment section below. As an added extra tip, guys, if you like some of the strategies shared in this video and you want to go straight to buying certain abilities on monster cards, you can go straight to Peak Monsters, type the specific ability into the search box here, and then hit the compare buy button and press low price. And this will categorize all the monsters with that ability at the cheapest possible price. So thanks very much for watching my video. Look out for the next one in the series. If you liked my content, hit the like and subscribe button so you can receive further updates. But other than that, I will see you on the blockchain.